here's one more thing before we leave. The Olympics, they're here, they're underway. They're not the same as what they used to be, what they typically are, but there's still a lot of joy that we can take from it. Even if the 2020, 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, regardless of what you want to call them, whether they're the same or not, plenty has happened. The usual dominance from someone like Katie Ledecky and the U.S. men's basketball team, we've seen some of that, particularly with Ledecky. And we've seen some surprises, like some stumblings from great teams and from typically great nations in certain events. And surprises like the Philippines getting their first gold medal in lifting, women's lifting. All that's great. All that's amazing. One thing that hasn't surprised me has been our response to the games, and specifically responses to how our idols have performed. And y'all know who I'm talking about. We're talking about our girl Simone Biles. There's been a lot made of her quitting on her teammates, quitting on the country, disrespecting the games. If that's your take, that's your take. I disagree, and we can talk about that. But my take is, I'm glad she did it. Not only is it good to put yourself first, because your health and your safety is paramount, it takes a lot of courage to tell millions of people, tens of millions of people, that I'm not all there. I'm not there to perform at my highest level. I'm not there so I can support my team and help us win. It takes a lot to say that I can't do it. And that's what she said. And for me, that's not quitting. For me, that's honesty. That's maturity. It's self-respect. And respect to your team. It's respect to your country. If she went out there in the headspace she was in, she legitimately could have died. And for all y'all out there saying, nah, that's not possible, it's not that deep. Well, no, it is. This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball, where if you go out there and you're not all there, where your performance will suffer, just like any of our performances will suffer if we go to work not mentally, emotionally, psychologically present. We'll suffer regardless of your job. But when you're flipping through the air and you need to know, not assume, not think, not guess, you need to know how to land so you don't break something. Hopefully, ideally, just break your toes, let alone break your neck. When those are the stakes, you should not go out there. You shouldn't. It's not about winning at that point. It's about well-being. And I think we need to remember that with not just this, because you could argue that this is an extreme, where this is an athlete at her peak, and she owes us nothing. Let's remember that. She owes us absolutely nothing. It's hard to say I can't do it, especially in this country, in our culture. It's hard to say I can't. And she had the courage to do it. And for me, I respect her immensely for that. She owes us nothing. In truth, she owes her team nothing. She owes the organization nothing. The organization that abandoned her and her sisters. Abandoned them. And she said, no, you won't forget about me. You won't forget about us. We can't forget about that either. She's carrying a lot on her shoulders, more than any of us have ever had to carry. And that can't be forgotten. So if you're thinking that she's weak for this, that she's a traitor for this, maybe reevaluate the trueness of the situation and what's really happening. This is bigger than sports. It's much bigger than that. Thank you all for listening. And we'll talk to you all next week.